Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's NBA and Stanley Cup playoff games as well as Major League Baseball games and look ahead to today's games in each of the sports as well as the WNBA. A big-name NBA coach is fired. My second NBA mock draft of 2020, my first one since the lottery last week, and my best bet of the day. Okay, we'll start with NBA. We had 4 games yesterday. Some interesting results, and obviously we'll look ahead to tonight's 2 games. Bucks over the Magic, 121-106 to take a 3-1 series lead. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 31 points, 15 boards, and 8 assists. Nikola Vucevic, 31 points, 11 boards, and 7 assists. He kept Orlando competitive in that game. They had the lead at some points throughout the game, and this score, I think, is a little deceiving because Orlando was in that game 3.5 quarters. So, good on Orlando for keeping it somewhat competitive. Thunder over the Rockets, 117-114 to even up the series of 2 apiece. Now, that series is very interesting. Dennis Schroeder had 30 points to lead the Thunder. James Harden, 32 points and 15 assists. Heat over the Pacers, 99-87 to complete the sweep. The Heat move on to the second round to take likely on the Bucks. We just have to wait till they close out that series, and then Indiana gets sent home packing, which is going to be an interesting offseason for them. Goran Dragic had 23 points. Victor Oladipo had 25 to lead the Pacers. Lakers over the Trailblazers, 135-115 to take a 3-1 series lead. LeBron James, 30 points and 10 assists. Yusuf Nurkic, 20 points, 13 boards to lead the Blazers. This game was not competitive whatsoever. The Lakers were up like 15-0 in the beginning of the game. The score was 24-8, very fittingly at one point, because obviously Kobe Bryant, 8-24, but reversed the number 24-8. So that was a sign right there to me. I believe in signs. And the Lakers go out and have their best offensive game, perhaps of the bubble, on Kobe Bryant Day. So that's very fitting. Looking ahead, 2 games tonight, 6:30 on TNT. You got the Nuggets and the Jazz. Game 5, the Jazz can close out the Nuggets to advance to the second round and wait on the Dallas Clippers winner. If Denver wins, they're back, or sort of back in the series. Game 6 would then be on Thursday night. I would make this game a pick'em, and I'd make the total 226.5. The Jazz are favored by 2.5, and the over is 219.5. It's unreal how much the total in this series is low. With the lone exception being game 3 when Denver scored 86, or that stupid low number, and if it wasn't for them scoring 12 points in the first quarter, obviously that game goes over. So, I'm going over 219.5. I'm going to say that Denver wins and forces a game 6. I think they're just due for a great game, and Utah's just due to slow down a little bit offensively. So give me Denver to win, but my play here for the podcast is the over. 9 o'clock tonight on TNT, you have the Mavericks and the Clippers. The Clippers are 8-point favorites over under 236. I'd make this 7.5, but that's with Kristaps Porzingis. So now I would make this a whopping 10 with the total of 238. So in terms of a pick here, I have a 2-point edge on the over and a 2-point edge on the Clippers. I'm going to say the Clippers. I'm going to take the -8. I think that the role players on Dallas will regress a little bit, and I think we'll finally see a big game from Paul George, who's been a huge disappointment in this series. So I think the Clippers will win. I think they can win this game by double digits. I like the over too, but no Kristaps Porzingis hurts the over in my mind. Although it didn't in game number 4 that went to overtime. So give me the Clippers -8 against the Mavericks to take a 3-2 series lead. Now we'll move on to the National Hockey League. We had two interesting round 2 games last night. So obviously we will go over those results and obviously look ahead to tonight's slate. So Islanders over the Flyers 4-0 to take a 1-0 series lead. The number 3 started the game with a goal, Andy Green, who was filling in for the injured Johnny Boychuk. Number 2 started the game with a goal, Juan Gabriel Pago. And the number 1 started the game with 29 saves on 29 shots, Semyon Varlamov. Stars over the Avalanche 5-2 to take a 2-0 series lead. The Stars have been tremendous in the playoffs. Colorado, obviously, without their goalie and Eric Johnson. So no Gallbauer, no Johnson. They're two important players, and those injuries happened during the series. So that's just bad luck for the Avalanche. I almost called them the Nuggets because I had Denver on my mind. The number 3 started the game with the goal and assist, Nathan McKinnon. Number 2 with the goal and assist, Alexander Radulov. And the number 1 started the game with 38 saves on 40 shots, Antoine Kudabin, who has been awesome in this series for the Dallas Stars. 2 games tonight, 7 o'clock on NBC. You have the Bruins and the Lightning. Boston looking to go up 2-0 in the series. Lightning trying to even it up at 1 apiece. The lines right now, it's about even. Boston minus 109, Tampa minus 107. I'm going to go with the Lightning to even this up at 1 apiece. This is the series, I think, that goes 7. This is, by many people's standards, to the fact the Eastern Conference Final, that the winner of the series will go to the Stanley Cup Final. I'm not totally in on that because of the way Carter Hart was playing up until, I'd say, Game 5 against Montreal and yesterday, and how well the Islanders have played in the postseason. So I don't think that's a foregone conclusion that the winner of the series is going to the Stanley Cup Final. But what I do think is that the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to come out and play like they did in the third period the other day and even up this series at 1 apiece. So give me the Lightning tonight as slight underdogs against the Bruins. 9:45 on NBCSN, you have the Canucks and the Golden Knights. Vegas is up 1-0 in the series. Vegas has been the best team in the playoffs. It's, to me, without a doubt. I think they should be the favorites to win the Stanley Cup, especially with the Avalanche injuries to Philip Gallbauer and Eric Johnson. I just can't go against Vegas right now. I know they have the issue with Marc-Andre Fleury, but Robin Leonard's awesome in net. So I'm going to say the Golden Knights get it done yet again here to go up 2-0 in the best of 7 here. And by the way, Vegas is a ridiculous minus 225. Vancouver, very juicy price at plus 190. So give me Vegas tonight to go up 2-0 in the series. Major League Baseball, I'm going to go over the games from yesterday and look ahead to today's games. If I'm not mistaken, all 15 teams or 30 teams are playing today. So that is obviously huge news. Well, there's 15 games. That's why I said 15. But 30 teams are playing today, which is awesome. Blue Jays over the Rays 6-4. The Blue Jays are 14-13. Tampa 19-11. Getting the win for Toronto, Thomas Hatch. Aaron Luke, the loss, he's 3-2. And getting the save for the Jays, Jordan Romano. And by the way, Hatch of the Blue Jays is 2-1. Home runs in this game, Yoshishito Tsugo, Willie Adames, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Yuli Gurriel Jr., Randall Grichuk. Tanner Roark, 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 4.91. Blake Snell, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 9 strikeouts, ERA 3.04. Marlins over the Nationals 11-8, so my best bet cashes, and it cashes in the bottom of the 5th inning in this game. Miami 12-11, Washington 11-15. Pablo Lopez gets the win. He's 3-1. Austin Voth the loss, 0-3. Brandon Kinsler gets his 6th save of the season. Home runs in this game. From Miami, leadoff hitter, center fielder John Birdie. And for Washington, Adam Eaton. Pablo Lopez, 5 innings, 6 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 1.98. Austin Voth, 3 2/3, 6 hits, 6 runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 6.65. Twins over the Indians, 3-2. Minnesota, 20-10. Cleveland, 17-12. Kenta Maeda to win, he's 4-0. Aaron Savali to loss, 3-3. Trevor Rogers gets his 7th save of the season. Home runs in this game, Cesar Hernandez, Nelson Cruz, and Miguel Sano. Kenta Maeda, 5 innings, 5 hits, and a run, a walk, 7 strikeouts, ERA 2.21. Savali, 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 8 strikeouts, ERA 3.15. Cubs over the Tigers, 9-3. The Cubs are 18-10. The Tigers are 11-16. Alec Mills to win, he's 3-2. Casey Mize the loss, he is 0-1. Home runs in this game, David Body, Javier Baez, Christian Stewart, and then Baez again. Alec Mills, 7 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 7 strikeouts, ERA 4.55. His good pitching performances this season, or I should say promising, has really forced the Cubs' hand a little bit. And Jose Quintana's getting off the injured list, and he's going to be in the bullpen. That's crazy, and they gave up a lot for him as well. And then Detroit, Casey Mize, 3 1/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 7.04. Rangers over the A's, 3-2, a big win for Texas. They're 11-17. Oakland 20-10. Lance Lynn the win. He's 4-0. Jesus Luzardo the loss. He's 2-1, and Rafael Montero gets his 6th save of the season. Home runs, Stephen Piscotty and Isaiah Kaner-Falefa. Lance Lynn, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, ERA 1.59. He's upping his trade value. Jesus Luzardo, 6 2/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, ERA 3.74. Brewers over the Reds, 4-2. The Brewers are 12-15. Cincinnati 11-16. Getting the win, now 2-2. Brett Anderson, the loss. Trevor Bauer, he's 3-1. Josh Hader gets his 6th save of the season. Home runs, Justice Vogt, Omar Narvaez, Kurt Casalian, and Eugenio Suarez. Brett Anderson, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts, ERA 3.52. He's been better his last 2 starts. Trevor Bauer, 6 1/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, ERA 1.65. Cardinals over the Royals, 9-3. The Cardinals with the big win, they're 10-8. Casey 11-18. Jack Flaherty to win, he's 2-0. Brad Keller the loss, 3-1. So Brad Keller finally with a bad start. Home runs in this game, Jorge Soler and Paul Goldschmidt. Jack Flaherty, 5 innings, 1 hit, and no earned runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts, ERA 1.98. He looked like every bit the pitcher he was in the second half last year. Brad Keller, 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 2.08. Astros over the Angels, 11-4. This was another over I considered yesterday, but I went with the Marlins Nats instead. Houston, 16-13. Angels, 9-21. Fomber Valdez, the win, he's 3-2. Patrick Sandoval, the loss, 0-4. Home runs, Kyle Tucker, who has really improved this season. And Justin Upton. Valdez, 7 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts, ERA 2.35. Sandoval, 2 2/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout, ERA 6.75. Rockies over the Diamondbacks, 3-2. This game was on ESPN last night. The Rockies with a much-needed win, ending their losing streak of 6 in a row. 7 games losing streak. They're 14-15. Arizona is currently on a 7-game losing streak. They are now 13-17. Ryan Castellini gets his first win. He's 1-1. Taylor Widener lost 0-1, and getting the save for Colorado, Daniel Bard. Home runs, Trevor Story, Cole Calhoun, and Christian Walker. Castellini, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 3.54, so he bounces back after his bad start against the Astros. Taylor Clark, 4 innings, 4 hits, and a run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 2.33. Today's games, 4 o'clock, doubleheader, Angels-Astros. There's a doubleheader today due to the pending arrival of Tropical Storm Laura that's coming into the Louisiana, then Houston area. Jose Suarez and Christian Javier. Suarez 0-1 with an ugly 33.75 ERA, whip of 4.5. Javier 2-1 with a 3.55 ERA, whip of 1.07. 5 o'clock, Marlins-Mets, doubleheader game 1. So the Mets return to action after their COVID hiatus. So this turned out to be a Reds situation rather than a Cardinals-Marlins, and that's good for the Mets. We don't have starting pitchers available here for this game. Phils-Nats, Jake Arrieta and Eric Feed. Arrieta 1-3 to 4.95 ERA, whip of 1.4. Feed 1-1 to 2.55 ERA, whip of 1.53. 6:30 Red Sox Blue Jays. Big game for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays got to win these games to get themselves into the playoff field. If they want to hold on to those last playoff spots. Kyle Hart against Chase Anderson. Hart 0-1 to 11.2 or 11.12 ERA, whip of 2.82. Anderson no decisions, 2.79 ERA, whip of 1.34. He's been very good for Toronto thus far. Fox Sports 1 Orioles Rays. Tommy Malone and Tyler Glass. Now Malone 1-3 to 4.13 ERA, whip of 1.33. Glass now 0-1 with a 6 ERA, whip of 1.52. Glass now has not been good this year. The Orioles do have some value here. I'm not picking them to win the game outright. Maybe I'll look at a first 5 for the Orioles, not full game. The Orioles are to win this game outright plus 185. But first 5, it doesn't say here for first 5. But Orioles first 5, I would certainly give that a look. But I'm going to go with the Rays. I think Glass now bounces back. He just hasn't been very good. So give me Tampa Bay in a game that they have to win to hold off the New York Yankees in the American League East. 7 o'clock, game 2, Angels-Astros. Julio Teheran for the Angels. 0-2 with a 10.38 ERA, whip of 2. We don't know who's going for Houston. Yankees-Braves. So the Yankees come back from their... they were the victim of the Mets' COVID hiatus as they were supposed to play the Mets. Over the weekend, you have Garrett Cole going for the Yankees. 4-0 to 2.75 ERA, whip of 0.89. Ian Anderson making his big league debut. So, Anderson, highly touted prospect. Maybe this is his audition for a trade. You never know. That's what I possibly would think. And obviously, Yankees huge favorites on the road with Garrett Cole on the bump against a rookie. Twins-Indians. Rich Hill and Shane Bieber. Hill 1-1 to 4.7 ERA, whip of 1.3. Bieber 5-0 with the 1.11 ERA, 0.76. He's the Cy Young favorite right now in the American League, and that was my pick before the season. So I feel good about that. Cubs-Tigers. Tyler Chatwood and Spencer Turnbull. Chatwood 2-1 with a 5.4 ERA, whip of 1.4. Turnbull 2-2 with a 3.65 ERA, whip of 1.38. I consider picking the Tigers here as a dog. They are plus, I want to say, if I had to make a guess with the Tigers, are like 115. Yeah, I was right. Plus 115. Good math in my head. 8 o'clock, you have the A's against the Rangers. Sean Manaea and Kyle Gibson. Both pitchers are 1-2. Manaea, 6.39 ERA, whip of 1.46. Gibson, 4.73 ERA, whip of 1.54. That's a game I'd consider the over in. Pirates, White Sox, Stephen Brault and Lucas Giolito. Brault, no decisions, 3 ERA, whip of 1.08. Giolito, 2-2 with a 3.89 ERA, whip of 1.24. Reds, Brewers, Luis Castillo and Brandon Woodruff. Castillo, 0-3 with the 4.44 ERA, whip of 1.52. Woodruff, 1-2 with the 3.23 ERA, whip of 1.21. Doubleheader game 2, Mets, Marlins. No announcement on starting pitchers yet. I'm sure Jacob deGrom will start in one of the games, and that would be tremendous if he did. That would mean that potentially on Sunday we can get the best 2 pitchers in baseball in Garrett Cole and Jacob deGrom going head-to-head. So that is something that I'm interested to see whether it comes into fruition or not. 8:15, the Royals and the Cardinals, Matt Harvey and Adam Wainwright. Harvey 0-1 with the 9 ERA, whip of 2. Wainwright 2-0 with the 2 ERA, whip of .83. 9 o'clock, the Mariners and the Padres, Marco Gonzalez and Chris Paddock. Both pitchers were 2-2. Gonzalez, 3.34 ERA, whip of .88. Paddock, 4.26 ERA, whip of 1.14. 9:40, Rockies, Diamondbacks, German Marquez and Alex Young. Marquez 2-4 with a 4.38 ERA, whip of 1.27. Young 1-1 with a 4.5 ERA, whip of 1.17. And 9:45, Fox Sports 1, the Giants hosting the Dodgers. Julio Urias against Johnny Cueto. Both pitchers were 2-0. Urias 2.74 ERA, whip of 1.26. Cueto 4.35 ERA, whip of 1.13. I'm going to go with an upset here. I'm going to go with San Francisco. They are plus 180 on the money line. I think that's ridiculous. Johnny Cueto auditioning for a trade here with this start, possibly his last start as a Giant. He wants to go out there and pitch a good game. Urias, I really, really like. I think he's finally coming into what the Dodgers were expecting him to be. But I think that we could see some regression here. So give me Johnny Cueto and the Giants here, plus 180 to pull off the upset against the Dodgers. Now I'm going to move on to the WNBA and look at that slate for tonight. We have some interesting games, obviously. Yesterday there weren't any games. At 7 o'clock tonight, you have the Liberty and the Sky. Liberty 1-12, Sky 10-4, CBS Sports Network. The Sky have been very good. They're living up to expectations, led by Allie Quigley. Just unfortunate for the Liberty, no Sabrina Ionescu, or else they're probably not 1-12. They're probably, I would say, 5-8 with Ionescu, because I think Ionescu's that special of a player. Maybe 4-9 with Ionescu. And the one win they got was without Ionescu. Kia Nurse was really good in that game. But give me the Sky here to get a win against a subpar Liberty team without Ionescu. 9 o'clock on CBS Sports Network, you have the Aces and the Wings. Aces 10-3, the Wings are 5-9. The Wings have been a surprising 4-9. I thought they'd be a little worse than this with some of the moves they've made in the offseason. The Aces are tremendous. They have a great coach in Bill Lambier. I think they get it done tonight against the inferior Wings. So give me the Aces. And by the way, if Liz Cambage was playing, this would have been an interesting game. I believe this was her versus her former team. So that would have been a fun little revenge game, but maybe we'll wait till 2021 for that. 10 o'clock ESPN2, the Fever and the Storm. The Fever 5-8, the Storm are 11-3. Seattle's the best team in the league, I think. Couple losses after starting, I believe it was 11-1. And I think this is a good get-right spot for them, led by Brianna Stewart, Jewel Lloyd, Sue Bird, Natasha Howard. So that's your big four for that team. I think they get it done against the Fever tonight, who the Fever have been solid, but I just think that they're in a bad spot tonight against a Seattle team that is just poised for a bounce back here. Now I'm going to discuss the Philadelphia 76ers firing coach Brett Brown after getting swept by the Boston Celtics. This was a move that I thought had to be made. This would have been made last year if not for the lucky bounce by Kawhi Leonard. But Kawhi Leonard's lucky bounce is what had Brett Brown survive another year. But they were absolutely destroyed by the Celtics. Shorthanded too, without Gordon Hayward, but they didn't have Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons is obviously more valuable to the Sixers than Gordon Hayward is to the Celtics. And the Sixers, I think, are poised for some changes this offseason. I think there's a chance they reassign Elton Brand. I think that there's maybe like a 15% chance that one of Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid is not on the roster next year. I think they're going to try to dump that horrible Al Horford contract. They thought that was going to be a great signing, but that has turned out to be a horrible signing as Horford has shown decline in his skills and his athleticism. Tobias Harris, they gave him that big contract. They pretty much chose him over Jimmy Butler. They gave up a lot to get Tobias Harris. And it's just sad because if they dump him, they might have to attach a first-round pick to either him or Al Horford in order to dump him. Brant came out and said that he doesn't want to trade Embiid and Simmons, or Embiid or Simmons, I should say, and he wants to find players that complement them better. So that's not a good sign for either Horford or Harris. I think that they're going to try to dump those contracts with first-round picks to teams that are rebuilding. Maybe the Knicks can take on Tobias Harris because they know they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And they could take on Tobias's contract with the picks, and same with Horford. Or a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers can take on the Harris contract. I think the Hawks want to win now. Maybe Minnesota, if they decide to move on from Karl Anthony Towns, that could be a team that could take on some of those bad contracts that Philly has. So, yeah. And Detroit, obviously, is another one that could take on some bad money. Although I think they are trying to dump the Blake Griffin contract just as badly as the Sixers probably want to dump Horford and Harris's bad money. So, I think the most interesting team of the offseason in terms of their potential, in terms of guys that they can give up. I think Brooklyn's obviously in that conversation as well as they look to try to get players around Durant and Irving to help them win now. Indiana, their season's over. I think that they're a team that can make some big changes. Sacramento, I think, could be a big change team with Buddy Hield. Orlando, maybe, with Jonathan Isaacs hurt, could go in the other direction. So I think this offseason is full of possibilities, and I think the Sixers are in the forefront of that. And in terms of who they could hire as their next coach, Tom Thibodeau apparently had interest in that job, and the Sixers had interest in him, but ultimately Thibodeau wanted to go home to the Knicks, where he started his career as an assistant under Jeff Van Gundy. So maybe the Sixers wanted Thibodeau more than Thibodeau wanted to go there, because it was obvious that Thibodeau wanted to go back to the Knicks and try to turn them around. So he's off the table for Philadelphia. I heard rumors about Tyronn Lue. I just don't like Tyronn Lue. I just think that's a LeBron James product, just like David Fizdale is, and just like some other coaches are. Mike Brown, and I'm trying to think of who else that LeBron had as a coach that I just felt were projects. David Blatt from Cleveland. Most of those Cleveland guys, and then David Fizdale as like the lead assistant under Spoelstra in Miami. So, that's how I feel about Tyronn Lue. I think that'd be a mistake if Philly or even Brooklyn hired him. Maybe they'll look around. Maybe they wait for a coach to be unexpectedly fired. Maybe Terry Stotts loses his job in Portland and they can go out and get him. There's that crazy rumor going around that the Nets really, really want to hire Greg Popovich away from San Antonio. I don't see how in the world that happens. I know Kevin Durant loathes him, so I just don't see Pop leaving there. If anything, he might retire, but Pop came out and said he still wants to coach, but ultimately I think he'll end up sticking with the San Antonio Spurs. So, that's that. Back to Philly. Although if Popovich were to lead San Antonio, Philly would be enticing for him. I think that he can get a lot out of Simmons and Embiid and fix their chemistry, and they obviously have to fix some of that roster as well. But like I said, I don't see Popovich leaving San Antonio. Maybe the Sixers will talk to Jeff Van Gundy or Mark Jackson. I know those two names have been thrown out in every coaching search pretty much since 2014. But both of them obviously wanted to stay at ESPN, although the conspiracy theorists thought that both of those guys wanted the Knicks job, but ultimately they didn't go in that direction. And they're going to be staying with Mike Breen in the booth. Although Jackson is a rumored Brooklyn candidate, so we'll see about that. So yeah, Brett Brown. I think that there's a chance that he is back in the league as an assistant under somebody, or he can land a head coaching job with a team that's rebuilding. Maybe, I'm going to throw one out. Minnesota moves on from Saunders, and they can go and hire Brett Brown. Maybe if they trade Karl Anthony Towns and want to just blow it up and do the old Philly style from 5 years ago and bring in Brett Brown, that'd be kind of weird if they did that. But yeah, I think Brett Brown will get another opportunity, though. He did a good job with Philly early on when they were tanking. He was having them play hard and got a lot out of some guys, Robert Covington and some other guys that they ultimately wind up trading away. So I do think Brett Brown will ultimately get another opportunity to coach in the NBA. So I'm interested to see where ultimately Philadelphia goes with this head coaching search. Now I'm going to do my NBA mock draft. This is my second one that I've done this year. My first one since the lottery happened. Obviously, the team that won the draft lottery was the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they have the first overall pick, and I have them selecting Anthony Edwards, the shooting guard out of Georgia. The Timberwolves are a team that has some options with this selection, but I feel that Edwards is the best fit here. Edwards is someone that has upside as a scorer, and he can shoot the ball well. He fills a position of need, and he and D'Angelo Russell would be an interesting backcourt. 2, Golden State Warriors. Onyeka Okongwu, power forward center, USC. The Warriors are a team that is more likely to trade this pick for the next star player that becomes available rather than draft the rookie as they look to go back into championship contention. Okongwu did have a great freshman season as he's shown versatility and could be a double-double guy. 3, Charlotte Hornets. James Wiseman, center, USA. Memphis was where he went to school. And he had a suspension, and then he ultimately withdrew out of school to prepare for the draft as he only played in, 3 games? He's someone that fits what the Hornets need, an above-average big man that can protect the rim and fit into today's game as a small ball 5. 4, Chicago Bulls. LaMelo Ball, point guard, USA. The Bulls have options with this pick, but here I have them snagging their possible point guard of the future with high upside in Ball. His playmaking skills are great, but he is not a great shooter. A selection of Ball here would open up some interesting decisions for the Bulls, including whether to trade Zach LaVine or not. 5, Cleveland Cavaliers. Denny Avdija, small forward, Israel. The Cavs are a team that needs more young building blocks with upside, and here they snag one with Avdija. He's tall enough to play the 4, but skilled enough to play the 3. Avdija would be a nice fit here at the Cavs and could complement their young backcourt well. 6, Atlanta Hawks. Obi Toppin, power forward, Dayton. Toppin had a breakout year in college this past season, and he has a chance to go higher than this. The fit up front with John Collins would be interesting, and the Hawks need shooters to complement Trae Young as well, and that's what also makes this selection intriguing due to Toppin's elite shooting ability. 7, Detroit Pistons. Tyrese Halliburton, point guard, Iowa State. The Pistons have arguably the worst roster in the entire league after getting rid of Andre Drummond and have a lack of star power. Halliburton's season was short due to an injury, but improved tremendously as a player with his passing and scoring abilities. Halliburton is the type of player the Pistons need for the reasons I mentioned. 8, New York Knicks. Killian Hayes, point guard, France. The Knicks are arguably the biggest losers of the draft lottery from dropping to 8 from 6. Here I had them selecting Hayes, who many people like due to his explosiveness and good ball handling. The issue is that he cannot shoot, but his shooting improves. The Knicks get themselves a quality player. 9, Washington Wizards. Devin Vassell, shooting guard, small forward, Florida State. Vassell is someone that could end up going here or outside of the lottery. He is your classic 3-and-D player that fits in today's NBA and shoots very well from behind the arc. Vassell is also very versatile, so he would fit here whether it's with Bradley Beal or without him. 10, Phoenix Suns. Isaac Okoro, small forward, Auburn. The Suns had a phenomenal bubble going 8-0, although they didn't make the play-in for the last playoff spot. Now they look to add to what's already a promising roster. Okoro would fit here with the Suns due to his 3-and-D ability, and that opens up a door for a possible Kelly Oubre trade, or maybe they trade this pick. 11, the San Antonio Spurs. Cole Anthony, point guard, North Carolina. I am much higher on Anthony than most people, mainly due to the fact that he was playing at a high level in college before his knee injury that forced him to have surgery. He could have possibly gone first overall had not been for that knee injury, and he'll be a steal for whomever drafts him, especially past the top 5. 12, Sacramento Kings. Aaron Nesmith, shooting guard, small forward, Vanderbilt. This would be a solid pick for the Kings, who have a player in Buddy Hield who wants out of town and could look to replace him. Although a small sample size before a foot injury, he shot incredibly well in the midst of what looked to be a breakout season, especially from three-point land. 13, New Orleans Pelicans. Precious Achiuwa, power forward, Memphis. The Pelicans are a team that has some options with this pick, including the possibility of trading this pick to get a piece to go with Zion Williamson. Achiuwa is someone that averaged a double-double in college after James Wiseman left school. He's not a great shooter, but his effectiveness around the rim and in transition is what intrigues teams. 14, the Boston Celtics. From the Memphis Grizzlies. ZK Naji, center, Arizona. This is another pick, and I see possibly being moved, as the Celtics are a win-now team. Naji is someone that is a small ball 5 that fits perfect for today's league, although he lacks instincts around the rim. Ironically, he'd be a perfect fit with this current Celtics team. 15, Orlando Magic. Sadiq Bey, small forward, Villanova. The Magic are going to be an interesting team this offseason that could wind up taking a step back due to the unfortunate ACL injury to Jonathan Isaac. B is someone that is versatile both offensively and defensively, and that fits in the current league today. He, Nikola Vucevic, Isaac, and Markelle Fultz would be a nice core. 16, Portland Trailblazers. Tyrese Maxey, shooting guard, Kentucky. The Blazers are a very interesting team going into this offseason. Maxey is someone that did not live up to expectations as a freshman for John Calipari's team, although he showed flashes with his creativity in the paint and is a better shooter than perceived. 17, Minnesota Timberwolves from the Brooklyn Nets. Isaiah Stewart, center, Washington. The Timberwolves go with Stewart here, as he's someone that could start as a backup big off the bench or play alongside Towns, or if they trade Towns, Stewart can start. Stewart is someone that some people have doubts about due to spacing issues, but did bring solid production to the table for a lousy Washington Huskies team last season. 18, the Dallas Mavericks. Theo Maledon, point guard, France. Maledon showed some potential for a young age, but was mostly underwhelming due to injury issues. This could very well be a draft and stash prospect for the Mavericks, who still have Jalen Bronson on their team, as well as Seth Curry, and have good success with international players. 19, the Brooklyn Nets from the Philadelphia 76ers. R.J. Hampton, shooting guard, New Zealand. This could be a steal for the Nets, as Hampton was more highly regarded before the basketball season started. Hampton is someone that is versatile and is a solid shooter and could be a contributor to a new-look Nets team next season with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving back and healthy. 20, Miami Heat. Kira Lewis Jr., point guard, Alabama. Lewis is someone that came into college with expectations but returned to school last year and performed better than he did as a freshman. He's a solid perimeter shooter and could be a steal at this point in the draft. 21, Philadelphia 76ers. Patrick Williams, small forward, Florida State. The 76ers land themselves a steal here with Williams, who was thought out to go in the lottery a few months ago. He is someone that is versatile and could defend multiple positions, but his offensive game is a work in progress. 22, Denver Nuggets from the Houston Rockets. Jaden McDaniels, small forward, power forward, Washington. McDaniels was a super disappointing player in college a year ago, on what was the most disappointing team in the sport, as he led the Pac-12 in fouls per game. The one thing that could get McDaniels picked in the first round is his upside. 23, the Utah Jazz. Jaheim Ramsey, shooting guard, Texas Tech. Ramsey is someone that was solid as a freshman for Chris Beard's squad. He is someone that screams high-energy guy off the bench for a contender. Those reasons are why this will be a great pick for the Jazz, who fit that bill. 24, Milwaukee Bucks from the Indiana Pacers. Jalen Smith, power forward, center, Maryland. Smith is another player who improved as a sophomore and showed some versatility along the way. The Bucks can use a backup stretch big to come off the bench with Ursa Ilyasova and Robert Lopez aging. 25, Oklahoma City Thunder from the Denver Nuggets. Jordan Nwora, small forward, Louisville. The Thunder land themselves a nice player at the position of need in Nwora. He can shoot and space the floor, but his playmaking and ball handling need to be worked on. 26, the Boston Celtics. Xavier Tillman, power forward, Michigan State. The Celtics have a lot of bigs now, although they don't have one that jumps right out at you. Tillman is someone that was one of the better bigs in the country with his size and strength, although not a great perimeter shooter despite averaging a double-double. 27, New York Knicks. From the Los Angeles Clippers. Josh Green, shooting guard, Arizona. Green is someone that is a great defensive player and has shown flashes of good scoring, but is not a great playmaker or passer. The Knicks are taking a risk here with this pick, and if he improves his offensive game, they have themselves a player. 28, the Los Angeles Lakers. Nico Mannion, point guard, Arizona. The Lakers are currently a candidate to trade this pick as they lack picks and future assets due to the Anthony Davis trade last year. Mannion is not someone that has great athleticism or can shoot well, but has other qualities that can make him a solid player in the league. 29, the Toronto Raptors. Cassius Winston, point guard, Michigan State. This would be a steal for the Lakers, who grabbed someone who many thought would be a lottery pick before the college basketball season. Personal issues really were a distraction for Winston, who isn't a great athlete but is smart and is a solid shooter. 30, Boston Celtics from the Milwaukee Bucks. Cassius Winston, shooting guard, Duke. Stanley is someone else that could be a steal in the late first round, the early second round. He is someone that is a solid shooter from three and is great in the transition game. So there you have it, my NBA mock draft. Maybe I'll do another one next week or the following week, depending on other things that happen. And last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by DraftKings. I have some things under consideration, including the over that I've been riding the tail on, that is Utah-Denver. But baseball overs have been treating me very well this season as well. This is a tough call, but I am going to go with I'm undecided between two of these. I'm going to go with the over in the Oakland, Texas game. Over 8.5, minus 114, so the juice is on there. So give me the over in the Texas-Oakland game. Traumaniac Kyle Gibson. I don't love any of these pitchers, so why not? All right, so that's it for the show today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from today, looking ahead to tomorrow's games. I'll give you a pick for the BMW Championship in golf as well, and obviously my best bet as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.